Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Neon, and I'm here with some really interesting news about Star Wars and Marvel coming directly from the Walt Disney Company. An SEC filing has confirmed that not all is well with Star Wars and Marvel. Now, this article is coming from Cosmic Book News. We'll read a little bit of it, and then we'll go out and actually read part of the filing. Sales for Star Wars and Marvel Comics related products are down for Disney's fiscal year ending September 29th, 2018, compared to the previous year, and even more so compared to 2 years ago. I think anybody could see this looking at the sales numbers for the comics, looking at all the Star Wars toys, the unsold Star Wars toys that are sort of junking up shelves all across the country. As part of an SEC filing, Disney released its fiscal year 2018 annual financial report, offering numbers and insights for their consumer products and interactive media division, which also includes publishing. Yeah, Disney kind of restructured a couple of years ago, and they rolled publishing into this consumer products division. It's very hard to find out exactly how much money Marvel Comics makes because it is buried in this division. So they're not going to, it's not like IDW where they have a breakdown of their numbers for comics and games, etc. Disney just sort of throws Marvel in with everything else, and you got to kind of figure it out. But the publishing is down. If that division is down, then Marvel is down all across the board. So revenue for the division is down 4%, and almost 16%. Profits for the 2-year period are down, almost 16% from 2016. Profits for the 2-year period are down nearly 17%. Disney's Consumer Products division is also the only division at Disney to have lost. This is important. Disney's Consumer Products division is also the only division at Disney to have lost revenue in 2018. Disney's actually doing fairly well, especially with the theme parks, especially with some of their other endeavors. But consumer products, which includes a large chunk of that, includes publishing, and a large chunk of that includes Marvel Comics, lost money. Let's take a look at the numbers and what the report offers. Disney's fiscal year ending September 29th. Yeah, people, this is the magic number. As Disney watchers ourselves and Disney shareholders, I am a Disney shareholder. This is the magic number. The end of September. This is when, if you see some weird stuff going on with Disney-owned companies toward fall at the end of September, you see some personnel changes, you see some stuff get canceled or shuffled around. It probably has to do with the magic date. It's basically Disney's fiscal year always ends at the end of September. So just keep that in mind for 2019, 2020, and beyond when you're watching the situation with Marvel and Star Wars. So here they show the numbers, they show the changes. Now, this note says the Disney fiscal year ending September 29th includes releases for Star Wars Battlefront 2, The Last Jedi, and Solo. Worth a mention is that Disney's 2018 fiscal year saw more Star Wars releases in 2017. That is true. They actually had more Star Wars. But the numbers dropped, which we can assume is a huge cause for concern for Disney and is at least part of the reason for the recent changes to the Star Wars film division that sees the movies slow down. Yeah, Bob Iger came out a couple months ago and basically said, we're not doing the stories anymore. We're not doing the movies in between. We're going to do episode 9. We're going to figure it out from there. The rumor is that the only Star Wars movies planned for after episode 9 would be the Game of Thrones guys doing a trilogy, but everything it seems to indicate that Rian Johnson's trilogy is gone. So we will see. Regarding Disney's lower 2018 fiscal year, which again ended September 29th, for consumer products and interactive media and publishing, the company blames the drop on... Now, this is coming from their report. This is actually coming from Disney's SEC filing. Here's where they go, and they talk about Star Wars. Regarding Star Wars in 2018, the report notes, the decrease in retail sales was due to lower comparable store sales, partially offset by an increase in online retail revenue. Lower comparable retail store sales reflected decreased sales of Star Wars and Moana merchandise. Well, Moana's, the movie's been out a couple of years. in current year, partially offset by higher sales of Mickey and Minnie. You would think in a year where they have more Star Wars movies, more Star Wars games, more Star Wars everything, cartoon shows, that Star Wars merchandise sales would pick up, but they don't. They actually decreased because people are getting tired of it. They're getting burnt out. Again, the 2018 Disney fiscal year had 3 big releases for Star Wars, while the previous year only had Rogue One, yet the numbers are lower. Yes, people are burnt out on Star Wars, and a big reason for that is The Last Jedi. It basically soured a good chunk of the fan base against the franchise, and they're not buying stuff. They're not supporting Star Wars anymore. The releases for 2017 Disney fiscal year include Rogue One. In 2016 is just The Force Awakens and Star Wars Battlefront. Disney also included numbers comparing 2017 to 16. And there was a drop from 2016 to 2017 too. So they actually blame Star Wars Battlefront for that. They talk about, again, lower revenue from merchandise based on Star Wars and Frozen. So we're seeing a decline. We're seeing a decline over the last 2 years. Now, on the publishing side of things, this is where it gets really interesting. Because Marvel Comics does constitute a large chunk of Disney's publishing endeavors, and publishing lost money. On the publishing side of things, the report states the decrease at our publishing businesses was primarily due to lower sales of licensed and self-published books, self-published being Marvel, probably Marvel and whatever, Hyperion and all their other imprints, based on Star Wars and Frozen, and a decrease in sales of comic books based on Star Wars. There it is, direct from Disney, a decrease in sales of comic books based on Star Wars. Their Star Wars comics were huge sellers for a couple of years after The Force Awakens. I mean, Star Wars comics at Marvel were doing very well, and I think the company could afford to take a hit on superhero comics, and with lesser known characters, with more woke characters, because Star Wars kind of made up the difference. So they didn't have to depend on superheroes so much. They always had Star Wars, and now people don't care. They just don't care. Not as much as they used to. The numbers for 2017 go on to state the decrease in retail and other revenue was due to a decrease of 9% from our retail business, driven by lower comparable store and online sales in our key markets, reflecting higher sales of Frozen and Star Wars merchandise, and offset by Moana. Okay, as noted, the report also mentions numerous times drops for Star Wars are to blame on the stronger performance of The Force Awakens in previous years, which proves subsequent Star Wars releases did not hold up. That is true. There was a huge renewed interest in Star Wars for The Force Awakens. Love it or hate it, it kind of put the franchise back on the map for a lot of people. The general public wasn't really watching Clone Wars that much. I like Clone Wars. And people did check out Rogue One, and it did really well, actually. It did really well. And then once The Last Jedi hit, after The Last Jedi, the interest dropped. That is evidenced by Solo for sure. And other shows, Resistance, I don't know why they're greenlighting a second season for that. Just people are not interested in Star Wars now. They killed it. They milked it. You can only get so much green milk out of the franchise. It's pretty obvious fans are shunning Star Wars in favor of other popular Disney brands, especially Marvel, which isn't seeing a drop. The movies are doing well. The comics are not doing well. So this is their speculation for how Disney is going to course correct. Episode 9 is the only movie in development right now, or that has a release date. Bob Iger confirms they're slowing down Star Wars. They're focusing on streaming shows. So basically, Star Wars is going direct to TV at this point, which is kind of sad that Star Wars is going direct to TV. That's the route they're going with Star Wars, with The Mandalorian and the Rogue One series. So the Rian Johnson trilogy is reportedly canceled. It hasn't officially been canceled, but I would say there's a very good chance it's being canceled, just because he is a toxic name in the fandom. I don't see them being that dumb to bring him back, but who knows? So they are bringing Clone Wars back, which is something that I think a lot of Star Wars fans, myself included, would actually want. I would like to see more Clone Wars. Marvel Comics, they talk about, they've had, changes there with CB Cebulski taking over for Axel Alonso. I don't think it's done that much good, because right out of the gate, CB Cebulski found himself in a controversy, and I think it's been used, that controversy over his pen name was used as almost blackmail to have him, like, all of his major decisions were reversed within a few months of joining Marvel. I don't think he really has any power over there, and I think Marvel, honestly, to Disney, I mean, they just look at the bottom line, and if they keep underperforming like this, if publishing keeps underperforming, they are absolutely going to pull the plug on Marvel as an in-house publisher, and they'll just job the comics out to IDW or whoever's left standing when there's a huge shakeout in the mainstream comic book industry. But there you go, direct from Disney. Star Wars is declining, for sure, according to Disney. Here is their filing. You know, I will put a link to the actual SEC report in the description. You can check it out for yourself. It's pretty interesting reading. I mean, anytime they have a drop, of course, you know, they have to explain they have to explain why they dropped, but they basically threw Star Wars under the bus. So that's a really interesting thing to see Disney do, and that shows, you know, how much Star Wars actually means to them. I think they're like, well, if it's not going to make money, you know, if it's not going to make money, it doesn't matter if it's Star Wars or Marvel or whatever. That is, at the end of the day, that is what the Walt Disney Company looks at. So please subscribe to Clownfish TV for more pop culture news, views, rants, art videos, gaming videos, and more. This has been Neon. I will talk to you later.